Who should opt for MD Physiology? Top colleges to opt in for MD Physiology, and why do you think they are top in their domain? How does a MD Physiology residency look like? Walk us through your each year level, first year, second year, third year.
Most
How
of the
was the work
physiological
like?
departments within this country are pretty much decently equipped, and most of them are very well open to your suggestions or your ideas. And they also look forward to collaborating with other departments. So this is also one of the aspects that we need to understand. In the intraoperative settings, and you're collaborating directly with a neurosurgeon. So you're there with a neuroanesthetist and a neurosurgeon. You're doing the neurophysiological work for them.
Hello, hustlers. Welcome back to another episode of Medhustlr, the channel where we decode healthcare for you. So, as a part of our Ruling In series, where we bring different medical specialties for you to help you rule in your desired medical branch to pursue your PG. So, as a part of our series continuing forward, we got someone very special, Dr. Vivek, who is currently pursuing his MD Physiology from JSS Medical College, Mysore. And to also add more about Sir has also done his diploma FIFA in football medicine. So, sir, this was a very short introduction about you from my side, but I would also like you to introduce to our audience.
Uh, Hi, Amay, and hi all the team from Medhustlr, and hello to your viewers. Uh, there's nothing much to interact about me. I'm just a normal, everyday, average medico who is doing his MD in physiology. Okay, I have not achieved something so big that the kind of introduction that you have given. I am just your everyday person who has come here to have a conversation with you.
And so that is so kind of you, but I know there is more to lock in this podcast. So, sir, I will brief the agenda of this podcast to our viewers. So, someone who is in his MBBS or in his NEET PG phase, or now the counseling is lined up. So, they are someone who is planning to pursue his MD Physiology and is
Mhm.
doubtful, wants to know about career prospects and how does residency in physiology looks like. So here in this podcast, we'll be tackling each and everything so that someone who is thinking, he get a complete guide. How does this residency look like and what are the career prospects after the residency?
Right.
So, sir, welcome to the show. We will deep dive directly into the podcast. Sir, I know this has been the question that you have been asked multiple times, maybe by your friends, relatives, or family. So, sir, let's tackle this first. Why did you choose MD Physiology, and was it your first choice, or did it happen by chance?
Okay. So let us get the big cat out of the box first, and then we go to the enjoyment phase.
Right, sir.
So MD physiology, I did not land it as I wanted to land it, in the sense that I wanted always to do MD physiology. I knew finishing post my MBBS, I knew that either I am going to pick up an emergency specialty, or I'm going to pick up something very niche. Say,
Right.
for example, an MD physiology or an MD anatomy or a biochemistry or a pharmacology. In that aspect, when I was going through the process of getting into the stepping wise of NEET PG, after that counseling happened, then I was thinking whether to get into pharmacology or physiology. I had a crossroads between that. Everyone asked, why don't you pick up emergency medicine or general medicine? I was like, I cannot, afford that much of fees at the state where I was to, go to a branch and get into another big hurdle. I wanted to do something which can come to me easily. So that
Right,
was
sir.
a big decision in picking up MD Physiology. Also, one of my great mentors who was an MD Physiology, and he was my professor when I was in first year. He helped me guide through MBBS in difficult phases. So he has been from first year till I finished my MBBS. So he was a guiding light. And this is something that I wanted to give him as Guru Dakshana.
Right,
So
sir.
he's no more with us right now, but that was one of the plans.
Perfect, sir. So that was a very nice insight. So, sir, now you have chosen MD Physiology. So, there
Yes.
are also some of our viewers who are thinking to opt for MD Physiology. So, for them, can you let us know what are the top colleges to opt in for MD Physiology and why do you think they are top in their domain?
Right. So there are two aspects. The first one, you go through via INICET, and the second option is you go through via NEET PG. So when you go through INI, you go through the cream of the cream, which is JIPMER and AIMS all over India. So they are usually very good for physiology or per se any other branch. Particularly for physiology, if you consider AIMS, there are different types of AIMS. AIMS Delhi is there, Patna is there, Bhubaneswar is there. Currently, AIMS BB Nagar in Hyderabad has started. There's JIPMER, which has been going through for a long time. All these are premier institutes for MD physiology because one, you have basic research done at a very high level, and then you also do not have the funding crunch. It's already been taken care by the central institutes. And then when it comes to instruments, most of these institutes are well equipped with physiological instruments that give an insight into first year MBBS and your residency, which is more important when you come into residency because instruments carry a lot of weightage. The basic research or the animal research that they're doing carry a lot of weightage when it comes to your residency programs rather than your first year MBBS or second year MBBS. So these are the top institutes coming via INICET. Once you're coming through NEET PG, it differs. Now, this is a tricky situation. Not every medical college is going to have the same equipment. Not every medical college is going to deal with you in the same aspect as your INI colleges or top colleges from NEET PG. So picking MD physiology is not wrong. Picking the wrong college where you don't have anything to do, that is a big challenge. Now there are n number of colleges, it is highly difficult to pinpoint, yes, this college is good. Yes, this college is good. There are few institutes, for example, like where I am, JSS, it's a very good institute. The department is very good. We have a lot of instruments, we have a lot of equipment, we have a lot of cross departmental collaborations happening. The faculty is very, approachable. So all these things. So you need to have a perspective in what college you're preferring or what medical college you're choosing. It's always a big hurdle, but it's also very difficult to pinpoint, yes, this is the correct institute, this is the correct institute. The problem comes here is there are a lot of institutes, government institutes only in different states, where you don't find the proper resources, that is required for a resident to move ahead and continue the 3 years and then, figure out what he has to do.
Right, sir. So, sir, what do you think like are the global institute to pursue MD Physiology?
There are no global institutes to pursue MD physiology because MD physiology is a specific course that only happens in India and very few other countries, as far as I know.
Right, sir.
Globally, you have MS in physiology, which is a basic science. Physiology is basically a basic science. So there are institutes in Japan, in Australia, in Europe, the whole entire continent, in Brazil, US not so much, Canada yes. So these are the few countries where basic physiological research is considered to be at the highest of high levels. So that's again a process where you have to go through IELTS and GRE, like how a regular person goes through. It's the same application process for anybody else.
Right, sir. So, sir, now the next thing, as we are already discussing, like what to look into colleges while choosing MD Physiology. Now, let's tackle this holistically. So, this is answered for our viewers. So, what do you think should one see while opting for MD Physiology?
That's a very good question, and it is quite tricky and challenging as well to answer that in a clean way. I say that in a clean way because you have lot of hurdles to cross through and lot of hurdles to pass in the residency level. So While you're choosing, let us take an example of an a government college which is named X. It has a very good reputation for other branches, but physiology being considered as a first year MBBS branch, it's not given so much importance, but you get your stipend on time. So that is one
Yes.
advantage. So always look into whether you're getting stipend on time or not. That is the first priority. For any resident that is going through this, stipend is a must because 3 years of PG life without having an income that is a primary income that is coming, it will be a highly difficult challenge. So always look for one stipend on time or at least a delay of 1 2 months that should be sufficient.
Yes.
Next, the departmental structure and hierarchy and departmental instruments. Are there seniors in your department? That should be one of the first criteria that you have to check. Because if you're the first person that is going to join, or you're the first person to go join after a long period of time, what happens is you will be starting from scratch, and a lot of them won't be understanding the nuances of how to get into that. So you need to understand your seniors are there. If your seniors are there, they'll be helping you to guide you. Say yes, I've already done this, so you don't have to do this. You just go to the next step. So that is one more criteria. Seniors. Then departmental equipment. Most colleges do not have the physiological resources that are required because one, they're too costly. They're very expensive. Not like everyday radiology ultrasound where they're producing in a bulk effect, so the cost becomes less. The physiological instruments that we use are primarily very high in cost because the manufacturers and the dealers are also very less in India. They also outsource the instruments from outside countries and then they get it. Then there's a commission fees that goes on to them and all those things. So instruments is the most important because you are going to spend most of your time apart from teaching, apart from taking seminars and all those things with working with your instruments. So having that knack and having the instruments is a very big thing in identifying which college is good. Now this is again a tricky portion because nobody is going to give out that information to you voluntarily.
Right, sir.
Because finding a physiologist who is a resident in one college itself is as it is difficult because you won't have the frequency of n number of people and big large pool of population. That's already a niche branch, so you need to go deep and find the people there. So finding them and getting that information out is going to be difficult. Now, when you ask someone, is it a good college to come to? Is it a good department to come to? 100% of the people will say yes, please come. Why? Because people need a furthering of the branch so that the department evolves simultaneously. So the third point is a very little bit tricky to get into, but with the availability of data right now, I think it's going to be easy. I still remember people outreach to me on Instagram, people outreach to me on on my mobile number. It's not like my mobile number is a prime minister's number. It's easily available if you just make a couple of calls. So
Yes.
like the people have approached and I've told them yes, it is a very good branch and there's a lot to do apart from teaching. And the next thing is how department is approaching the PGs. It's not every day that you luck out in my situation where the department is friendly and they help you out. That is one of the biggest challenges that students face because the students who are already in, they're not going to give you the data voluntarily saying that yes, our department is like this, our department is like this. So that is also a tricky portion where students need to understand. But as far as I know, as of right now, most of the physiological departments within this country are pretty much decently equipped, and most of them are very well open to your suggestions or your ideas. And they also look forward to collaborating with other departments. So this is also one of the aspects that you need to understand. And then one more thing that you need to understand is how much time do you have once you finish your 8 to 5. Most of the departments run from 8 to 5, 9 to 5, the same range. So once you finish your 8 to 5, you have enough time to sit, read, get the things done for the next day, and then have your personal life as well. First year PG is always going to be difficult, but as you move on, you need to, ensure that yes, we have this time, we have this scope to, do whatever we want. So understanding and picking that personal lifestyle balance is also very important. And then I think that should cover the most of it. If anything pops out, I just tell you then and there.
Yes, sir. So I think this was a very nice insight you have already mentioned with all the disclaimers to our viewers. So that is not something that very straightforward to look into. It is tricky sometimes and we have to be cautious and have to get the right information so that when we land up into any college, so it's best for us. Okay, perfectly addressed, sir. So, sir, now let's talk. You were also mentioning about work-life balance. So, we'll be addressing this in later on. But for now, how does a MD Physiology residency look like? Walk us through your each year level, first year, second year, third year. How was the work life? How many hours you need to put in? What was the research work? And everything that summarize the residency in physiology.
Right. Uh, so here also we have to divide this into two different things. One, the resident life in your INICETs, that is, let us assume AIMS Delhi. Let us assume I am doing my residency in AIMS Delhi in MD Physiology department right now. So there, the scope is lot higher. Residents are put into clinical settings where they be doing pulmonary function tests, where they're doing they're running andrology labs, where they're running autonomic function testing, where they're doing intraoperative neuromonitoring. So they're attached with the clinical block and they're running as parallel to the clinical PGs as however they are doing. Coming to the NEET aspect, NEET PG aspect, and the regular medical colleges, which is not AIMS. My lifestyle, if you say I was running from 8 to 4, whenever there is an undergraduate, as you join in MD Physiology, the first year of residency, you have to attend your classes with undergraduate. So that becomes a refresher course for your MD Physiology again. So that becomes every day 1 hour or 2 hour class with the entire undergraduate group, which is 150, 100 to 250, depending on the colleges. Once
Yes.
that is done, then you will be going back to your department and you'll be given the whole and sole responsibility to run the labs. So running the lab means taking care of MBBS labs, BDS, BSc, MSc, and any other allied health sciences courses that are available in their own particular colleges in their own domain. You have to go through those branches and departments and you have to engage them in the lab session. So that is where most of your knowledge also picks up because once you tell something, you tend to retain it more. And then
Yes.
again, you'll be having tutorials, which is a short group teaching. Then again, you'll have short group teachings, and now a new thing has popped in, which was not there when I was doing, which is called early clinical exposure. So you'll be accompanying the MBBS students to, as a physiologist, to either blood bank or the general medicine ward to get the basics and however everything is seen, and you have to show them to get them their knowledge into the basic clinical settings. That is one aspect that you'll be running behind. Then again, you'll be in charge of, the departmental activities and the departmental works, and you'll have weekly seminars, journal clubs, and you'll have interdepartmental colloquiums. So these are the things that usually take up your time. Even post 4 p.m., once you're done, you'll have a rest period of maybe say 1 hour or 2 hours, and then you'll have to start engaging in revising and getting the in-depth knowledge into what is going to happen tomorrow. So as a UG, you're not going to put in so much effort into one subject because you have multiple subjects to deal with. As a resident, you'll have to go in depth into understanding the concept and reading multiple books, and you need to be aware mentally as to when and where the student is asking a doubt. You will be able to explain that. So yeah, first year of residency. Apart from this, your thesis work will begin. You have to get your IEC approval for your thesis work. And then you'll be doing a short work publications and all those things. So these take up the major chunk of your first year. So just like any other clinical branch or any other branch, nowadays it's not called preclinical, paraclinical anymore. Everything is clinical branch. So like any other branch, you're also running 24 by 7. It's just not more physical, it's more mental.
Right. Yes.
That's how we run about.
Perfectly addressed, sir. So this was about first year of your residency. So just now let's tackle about thesis work. So what is the timeline to complete the thesis work for during residency?
Uh, Once you get into the course, you'll have a brief period of for the first 6 months where you will be able to, get the nuances and the briefing of and synopsis of the thesis done, and then you'll get the IEC clearance. And depending on what topic you choose, really it matters. People like me who like to shoot their foot with a gun, we choose a very difficult topic and try to run behind it every day and try to finish it in the last moment. But the people also choose fairly limited topics which they can get it easily done. So you don't have a specific timeline for your thesis. Usually let us assume it is 18 months because most of your second year you'll be doing different set of works apart from what you were doing in your first year. Also you'll be able to collect your thesis data.
Perfect, sir. So what were the different resources that you used during your MD?
Um, can you be more elaborate in telling, because a resource means nowadays a resource is an AI is also a resource.
Yes, sir. So just for your residency, what were the different books that you used to study? And for teaching also, what were you using to make the PowerPoints for the UG students? And what else, apart from the academics, you were using that could help you to build your CV in the physiology domain?
Right? So our gold standard is always Guyton. Guyton is a book that it's gold standard for a physiologist. You go hand in hand. Then you
Right.
have international authors like Gannon, Boron, and there are in other books which deal with your hematophysiology, your pathophysiology. Pathophysiology is usually I use Oates. So there are books. I also refer Harrison. Harrison is also has to be referred because when you're teaching an MBBS student on this end, when you were in first year, you'll be like, yeah, this is easy. But when you're teaching them, that's when it hits you that you have to have the knowledge of the entire medicine in physiology because physiology is basically the medicine.
Yes.
So Harrison also I'll be referring. And then again, coming back to your local authors, we use Indu Purana, we use GK Pal, all these things. All these books have their own additions and their own deletions. So when I'm approaching you as an MBBS student, I approach you in a different manner well compared to a BDS student or an MSc student or a BSc student. Because the depth of knowledge, what is required for one course is not required for the another course. But that doesn't mean we don't go all out. You have to have your A game and in every class because again, there are students who spending so much hard-earned money of their parents and coming to a course. You just can't take them lightly, and you just have to be prepared all the time to give them your best, so that they remember or not, it's irrespective. You have to give your 100%. That's what I believe. And apart from that, I also use AI a lot. I use Google Gemini, I use ChatGPT because nowadays sitting in one place and making PPTs is a hectic work.
Yes,
It
sir.
is, so there are already pre-made PPT. As you know, there's slide share, there's script, there are pre-made PPTs. Why do you want to sit and again redo the entire thing? It doesn't make any sense. You just have to take it from somewhere and make it better in your own way, where AI comes and utilizes, and it it's a seamless process. That also it takes couple of weeks to get used to that process. You know how to integrate everything and what you want. But most of them, as far as I know, I think AI should be utilized into making PPTs in a correct way. Then again, if you do not know your subject, that again is a problem because you you can't do put in PPT without knowing anything. So you need to have both your medical knowledge and physiological knowledge and your artificial intelligence knowledge to combine both together. So that was also a very big resource for me. Um, and then again, there are your friends, my co-PGs. They are the biggest resources because what you see from your eyes in your perspective, the other person sees it completely differently.
Yes.
So you need to have that as a resource person, as a resource as well. And also your faculty. Faculty gives you the insights and faculty has the experience. You need to be irritating them, in my opinion. You need to be irritating your faculty to such an extent that you extract every single point that is there stored in their brain because they have vast number of teaching experience and vast years of experience, how to deal with things. So that is the big, I think in my opinion, that is one of the biggest resource that, any resident can have, having a good knowledgeable resource faculty.
Right, sir. So, sir, as you already touched this part that all the branches these days are neither a preclinical or non-clinical; they are turning into clinical branch. So, let's talk about MD Physiology. How is it integrating clinically?
Right. Uh, MD Physiology, if you start with the basics, we have first one is your pulmonary function test. So you can do your pulmonary function test, you can do your spirometry. All these things are also already integrated into pulmonology, where an MD physiology is doing at a INICET level. It's not come down to a grassroots level yet. It's there at a premium institute level. So MD physiologists already go and collaborate and do these things at their clinical branches. One in pulmonology. Then there is something called autonomic function testing. In autonomic function testing, what you do is you're going to assess the either the subject or the patient has a sympathetic dominance or a parasympathetic dominance into diagnosing whether it is postural hypotension or a syncope. So you're helping the general medicine people and the neurology people in assessing that. Then comes your electrodes and electrophysiology. Starting from ECG, you have your echo machine. All these things are also managed by MD physiologists at a national level and an international level. Then comes your exercise physiology and rehabilitatory physiology and nutritional physiology. You're collaborating completely with rehab PMR, which is physical medicine and rehabilitatory branches, general medicine, neurology, all these branches. They're also collaborating and integrating into that. And then there is a niche branch called intraoperative neurophysiological monitoring, which is where you check for your motor evoke potential, sensory somatosensory evoke potentials, and brainstem auditory evoke potentials in the intraoperative settings, and you're collaborating directly with the neurosurgeon. So you're there with the neuroanesthetist and the neurosurgeon. You're doing the neurophysiological work for them into assessing the gateways and channels and the electrical impulses that are being generated during the surgery and telling them, yes, this is working or this is not working. So these are the few avenues that are there. And apart from this, you have your electromyography EMG, where you do most of your exercise physiology work or your rehabilitatory physiology work. Then nutritional physiology comes in, where you're decoding the nutrition value at a microscopic level to say whether yes, this fits in and this fits in and this fits in. So there your collaboration is there. Uh, all these comes under a broad branch of clinical physiology. Forgot to tell you, there is also sleep medicine, which is evolving now. Sleep medicine is also being done by multiple branches like your pulmonology, ENT, sometimes your general medicine. So there also some physiology also has a part in sleep medicine, where physiologists at a national level are able to take up sleep medicine and do sleep medicine studies for other departments. Apart from that, there is something called neurophysiology where you integrate everything and you also doing EEG studies and EEG interpretations. You're tagged along with the neurologist and you're doing your EEG works and everything. Apart from this, you also have In few colleges, there are these posts called lab in charges or lab heads in the entire hospital. So the basic work of a physiology was to oversee the entire lab process, everything that to happen in India. But over the period of time, that was taken away, or we didn't pay much attention to that. So people are coming back to it again. And administrative work as well. Administrative work also demands a lot of things. So post MD physiology, you have a lot of administrative opportunities also. So these are the basic work areas where MD physiologist as a PG and post MD physiology as a PG, you're integrating your lifestyle and your knowledge that you have gathered into the clinical setting. These are all still niche areas. These take time as you move on because most of the people prefer teaching because it's a relaxed job. Once someone pushes the boundaries and asks them, yes, I am going to take this over and I'm going to give you a better report and a result than a technician does. So once a clinician gets that courage and gets that respect for you and the things that you are doing, he gains the trust in you, then you'll be able to take it over completely and he won't even be there to oversee anything. So these are the things that you can collaborate with your clinical settings. Also, the research in genetics and epigenetics and food processing are also the forefront with biochemistry people and physiology people. The gene testing is also being done by the physiology and biochemistry people tagged along. So these are the few areas that you can combine with your clinical counterparts and get it done.
All right, sir. That was perfectly addressed. I see there is lot of clinic, not just a little. There is a lot of clinical integration in physiology. It is just someone who is interested can get into any of these avenues and continue their career. So there is no limitation staying into non-clinical. It can be integrated into clinical anytime, any where in their career. Perfectly addressed, sir. So, sir, according to you, who should opt for MD Physiology?
No, that is a very good question, and that is actually a very challenging question to answer because some people, most of the people opt physiology as a last option. Now, I've taken it out of choice, not by chance. So I have interest in knowing things, and I have interest in irritating people and getting out what I want. It's not the case with most of the post MBBS graduates because what I've seen, this is actually a very, I don't know if most of the people have know this or not. What most people do is they pick up MD Physiology as a last branch option. And then they think that, okay, it is just a teaching branch and we'll get it done and we'll finish it off. So what happens is it's a person to person dependent level. You might have a different aspect. You might wanted to become an emergency medicine physician or a pulmonology medicine physician. But you're not there in terms of your NEET PG rank or INICET rank. So what do? You need to pick up something. So MD anatomy seems like, okay, I don't want to cut these things. So then you go look at MD biochemistry. You will be like, lab work. I don't want to do the lab work. So how do you get into it? And then you think MD physiology, okay, you don't have to move anywhere. It's just basic teaching and you'll get it done. That becomes a person to person challenge. If you're actually interested, MD Physiology offers you things that no other branch can offer because Physiology itself is a huge subject. It encompasses the entire medicine right from genomic level to the diagnostic criteria level that you're seeing. So the three golden P's in MBBS is physiology, pharmacology, and pathology. So you're at the first level, which is the basic science of physiology. So you need to have that engagement and zeal to see, yes, I might not be able to do the entire perspective of clinical physiology, but I'll be able to focus on teaching and research. Even for that, you need to have the enthusiasm and zeal to, pick it up and say, yes, I want to do this. So it's not just physiology. Every branch has the same thing. So it all depends on at that moment of time, at that moment of point in the counseling process, what you're applying to. Is your presence of mind there or not? So not to move away from the question, I feel you need to be, open to certain things like research, like teaching, like engaging the students, like, having administrative build-up work. So if you're interested in doing all this, yes, physiology is the branch to go to. And for the next 10 years at least, because of the crunch in the faculty and everything, physiology is actually a very booming branch. Even till date, the pickup ratio of physiology is less. I want to see my branch grow. So this is one of the means and methods to, get what we can do and get in more people to join physiology. If you're interested and you want to pursue the things that no other branch can do, yes, physiology is the branch that you can go with.
Right, sir. So, sir, we have been talking about research. So, can you tell our viewers, so how important is research during MD and how to address this?
Research during MD is a quite tricky and challenging aspect because as a resident, you'll be handling multiple things. So you may not get that, satisfaction of completing the entire research projects, but you will have the basics and the minimum criteria that you should be knowing, in understanding what the research is. Then again, that is a personal aspect. If you're very interested, you will definitely start off with the basics and you'll go to the advanced level before your MD is done. But if you're picking a branch like MD Physiology, it's absolutely on point to know the proper basics and proper nuances of research to deliver it. Because research is a big aspect of MD physiology, not just physiology. Let us take biochemistry, anatomy, any other branch. It's a huge branch. The research opportunities are humongous. If you know your basic biostatistics, if you know your basic synopsis, how to write a synopsis, if you know how to write your basic publication level articles, then sky is the limit for you. And if you can crack that model in the first 3 years of your PG, then post PG you will be the happiest person alive. And also research is a very tricky aspect. You should not, get into journals which are, pising off you. You should be very aware of how to publish. How to publish is itself a very huge topic.
Yes.
That lot of people can take days and weeks in, delivering that speech. I am not at their level to say, how to publish, but with what I know and with the bare minimum one or two publications that I have, I can say that yes, it's a challenging aspect. But once you write a publication, you will know a lot of things that the books don't teach you. So having practical aspect in data collection, sample collection, sampling errors, how to derive your p-value, getting to know all these things will help you in a very, highest of high levels. That will give you a very good opportunity, getting your research done. So research is a big part of your job, but I won't say that is the only job right now. As you know, things are increasing. But yes, basic level research is very highly looked after, like animal experimentations, animal model experimentations. So having your foot into that and getting to know how to procure your animals, how to do a clinical study for an animal research gives you an entire new perspective, and your brain runs in a different aspect. So yes, having research knowledge in MD physiology will boost up your PG career, but even if you're not at the highest of high level also you can manage. But then again, I would prefer, having the knowledge rather than depending on other people to get it done. So yes, having research knowledge is highly sought after.
Right, sir. So, is there anything like minimum research that needs to be done during the residency?
Yes, the minimal requirement is one is your thesis. thesis has to be published 6 months or 8 months prior to your exam. I
Right.
believe it's 6 months. And then you have your one publication compulsory is the criteria right now for your examination eligibility. Apart from that, it's on you and your guide and your faculty as to how they're encouraging you into picking up things. From what I've observed, doing the research is not difficult. Getting the approvals is not the difficult part. But if you're doing an on-ground level study as an original study or something niche branch, collecting the sample work is the most difficult part. If it's a hospital, you never know what the sample size or the sample patients that you want show up. You need to be behind them to get it done. So you can either do a questionnaire-based study, or there are multiple studies. There's a randomized control trial, there's a quasi-experimental study, there's a basic cross-section study, observation study. So all these things comes into place, and the basic requirement, I believe, is you should do more than your basic requirement. That is where you excel and your life will get easy post your MD. So only basic requirement that the NMC wants is one thesis and one publication, which in my opinion is not that difficult. You can get it done.
Yes, sir. So just to summarize, that two are the basic requirement as per the NMC mandate, but rest everything is an add-on to your CV. Sir, what do you think, like after getting into research, what opportunities can one land up after residency?
Globally, as a physiologist, as an MD physiologist with a medical background, you think differently. Say, for example, a person with a MSc physiology degree from anywhere in the world might look at a physiological research in a different aspect, and doing MD and post MD, MBBS and post MD physiology, you'll have a different perspective on research. So globally, when you say there are tons of research opportunities that are present in this era right now, I believe it will go on for the next 15 to 20 years because the entire world is lacking a competent physiologist or a basic physiologist who can take up the proper work and get the research done. The one thing is nowadays pharmacological companies have been banned to use animal experimental studies, citing many bioethical deficiencies. So in this aspect, what lot of pharma medical companies are doing is they're hiring the physiological people, have people with physiological background, and they're doing the animal experimental studies ethically because a physiologist always looks into ethics first. So that is one of the major avenues that are there, and you're doing it at a microscopic genomic level experimentation. So their research is booming. Then you have muscle research. Then you have neurological research, brain cell research. Then you have gut-brain axis research. Then you have immunological research, and then you have research on your cornea and retina still going on research, your auditory impulses research, your electrical potentiation research. The biggest the crisis that we are facing right now is MI in young adults. So that research is also going at a very microscopic level. So all these researches, a physiological person or a person with a physiological background is behind that. And still there is an award for Nobel Prize with physiology slash medicine. So there are a lot of, I believe, Brazil, Japan, Finland, Scotland, parts of Europe, apart from these two Scandinavian countries, and then UK, and then parts of Canada, US, little bit here and there. So Australia is also a major player. So these are the countries where major physiological research is happening, and the opportunities are endless. It's just that you need to sit down, look, you go through your LinkedIn profile, you go through Google, you call up people. These kinds of positions don't just pop out on your Google screen whenever you type physiology research positions open globally. So you need to see, look into LinkedIn, you need to contact people, you need to ask them which is a fully funded project, which is what is the stipend level that is coming for research, what are the salaries there. Uh, Also, an Arctic level or Antarctic level, whichever area that is, there also physiological research is taking a boom in identifying bacteriological species because recently they found few bacteriological areas where research needs to be developed more. Space is also a research area that right now ISRO is also focusing more on space research because we are planning to send manned missions. So India also is developing our physiological researching areas. So yes, globally research has a lot of scope, and also China is a major player, one of the major players, if not the best in funding the physiological research. So yes, you also need to look at funding options that are being given to you from central government agencies in the respective countries, so that you see and you develop the physiology and how the research is going. Yes, these are all niche areas. One needs to have the patience to sit and look for it. If you have that patience, the sky is the limit for you.
Right, so very well addressed. So recently I also saw this, I think on LinkedIn or somewhere I saw that Indian Space Agency was looking for physiologists to study space medicine. So there is lot of thing that is coming up. So sir, now if someone has done his residency in MD Physiology, now he wants to know what are the careers after MD Physiology. So can you walk us through this whole, like what are the career aspects after MD Physiology?
So the safest option here is your SR-ship. Go into a medical college, get your SR-ship done, assistant professor, associate professor, professor, and hopefully HOD at one point. So that is a traditional career pathway, teaching pathway. So there is no diversion. Moving away from that, in the northern belt of India, you see a lot of clinical neurophysiologists where they're attached with your neurologist and your neurosurgeon, where they're giving you, the neurologist does not have the time to sit and go through the entire EEG. So that's where the physiologists come in. So physiology people take up that EEG work, that burden away from your neurologist or neurosurgeon, and you read the EEG and you give report. That is one of the aspects of neurophysiologist. The second aspect is your intraoperative neuromonitoring. I know people who are doing freelancing intraoperative neuromonitoring and they're getting paid well. That's a very niche branch and a new branch that is up and coming. So you need to, market yourself in that area and domain, see how the market is. That field is humongous in when you go to US. So you can finish your MD physiology here, get your CNIM certification done in USA, and then you can become a neurophysiologist in IONM physiologist in USA. The pay is very good. That is one area. You can become a sleep physiologist or a sleep medicine technologist, where you have certification courses like RPGST. It's a USA certification course where you get certified and then you will become a sleep technologist and you'll be able to handle the sleep medicine or the sleep related issues. That is one career aspect. So all this combined can come into one single clinical physiology, or you can either call it as a sleep physiologist or a neurophysiologist. Then one more emerging branch right now is your exercise physiology. Every right now, any college that is offering sports medicine is also requiring for an exercise physiologist. So you can join there as an SR, as an exercise physiologist, gain your knowledge, and then you can go and work with your national level institutes and becoming an exercise physiologist. Or there are companies that are hiring especially for exercise physiologists post MD right now, because the market for your sports is very high right now in India, because there are plans of getting Olympics and Commonwealth Games, and the sports itself market is very high now. Apart from cricket, also there are other sports that are picking up, like your kabaddi, Coco leagues are popping up. Indian basketball is picking up. ISL is picking up. Football. So everywhere an exercise physiologist is required to look into the rehabilitative uh, effects and the muscle activity levels, how the motor units are generating and functioning and when they're popping up. So all this in exercise physiology takes place, and that is one avenue that you can take over. Apart from this, you can become autonomic function specialist, where apart from doing everyday routine teaching work, you can also become an autonomic function area. And then nutritional physiology is also there. And now all these areas, and post this, we also have in India currently, we have fellowships also, post MD. You can get into diabetology fellowships. You can get into sexual medicine fellowship post MD physiology. You have DM options for physiology right now. AIMS partner is offering DM clinical physiology. AIMS Rishikesh is offering fellowships in sleep physiology and high altitude medicine. There is a DM course for post MD also in high altitude medicine. Currently, there's only one person I know. He's one of my friends. He's doing his DM there. There are few people who are pursuing DM clinical physiology in AIMS partner. Uh, NIMHANS has a plan to develop and incorporate a fellowship for neurophysiology. So that is one aspect that you can look into. And then also you can, you go and finish your MBA and get into administrative section. That is always an option. So these are the primary areas that for the post MD person can look into. These are all again very fine-tuned branches where you need to be mentally very active and you need to be a little bit of crack in your head to yes, I want this niche area. I am going to pursue this no matter what. So you have to go there and you have to do that. To do that, you have to spend a lot of resources and not financially. You just need to be more active in your circles, get more marketing done. So have entry level SRship post with you, and you can explore everything. Also, there are opportunities from central government as well. There is a branch from DRDO which is called DPAS, which deals with physiological research. So I'm not correctly sure if it is DPAS or there is a entity which does entry level physiological research for armed forces. So that is there, and their vacancies pop up every now and then. You can get into that. You can get into ICMR also as a research assistant or a JRF or an SRF. That is also an avenue that you can develop. Uh, if nothing is there, you just want to do general basic medicine, you can open a clinic and you can always look into your patients. That always works. So post MD, yes, these are the few areas that are there. Now ISRO is also opening up vacancies for physiological research, for physiological people to get into that. Apart from ISRO, NASA also takes up, but for that you need to go through a different route in visa process, which I'm not completely aware of. Uh, the same way Russian Space Agency, European Space Agency, and Japanese Space Agency, Chinese Space Agency also has openings for them. Africa, the entire continent itself, is a humongous opportunity for post MD people. Not many people know because people are paid in tons of excess of money just to come and do basic physiological research for free with the entire government backing. Apart from this, you also have opportunities in for FMG colleges where post MD you can just go there and you can become a faculty. Outside in any country for that matter, you can become a faculty in any country. The pay is usually pretty well. Gulf countries pays usually very highly. US also takes up MD physiology without the stress and hassle of USMLE to come and teach your medical pre-medical students. So these are the few avenues that MD physiology people can get it done. You don't find all this information in any website or any books or anywhere. These are all areas where until unless you go and speak with people, you're not going to get aware of this. So marketing is one of the major things that I have done in my residency, going to conferences, talking to people. That is how I got to know, yes, MD physiology is not just a teaching branch. There is a lot of things that you can do.
Right, so very perfectly addressed. I think there are a lot of things to do after after their residency in MD Physiology. Not just teaching. Teaching is one of the major part, let's say, but there are multiple things to do and get into this and do create a best career out of it. Okay, sir. I think we have addressed almost everything, but just to take address one thing at a time again. So now let's say if someone does his MD physiology and now wants to get into the academic route, that he wants to become a professor. So like how does a career in academic, how does a career there looks like? Like what position they start in and what is the topmost position they can get into?